Hello and welcome to the Good Boy Podcast, the monthly conversational dog storytelling show. I am your host, Ilya Alexeyev, and I am joined with a couple of guests who were introduced to me through a former guest, Glenn. And so we are going to be learning about them and their dog together. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hi, I'm Shanice.
I'm David.
And our good boy is Ellis.
All right, Ellis. What type of dog is Ellis?
We are not sure. He is a mixed breed of something. We'd have to guess chihuahua, pomeranian, something like that. But the shelter that we got him from marked him as Papillon, strangely enough.
Yeah, we don't think it's Papillon, though. He does not have those ears.
Interesting. I love that answer. Like, we don't know.
Yeah, we really don't know, but we want to test him someday.
Oh yeah. Do they have like a dog? There's like dog equivalents like 23andMe, right?
Yeah, there are doggy DNA tests. They run from like $60 to $170. So we'll look into it in the future.
One day, maybe for his birthday.
Yeah, that's a good birthday present. But essentially he's a little guy, right?
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's about 10 pounds, more or less.
And I saw him really quick on the webcam, and he's all black, right?
Yeah, he's all black. He's got a little patch of white on his chest.
Long hair, pretty big fluffy tail, which is way too big for his body.
He looks like a squirrel.
He looks like a squirrel.
Yeah.
His tail kept growing, right? But his body didn't keep up.
Yeah.
I love the white patch too. I have a black lab, and he's got that a white patch, and I don't know. It just feels like, you know, like you see like Iron Man. He's got his little thing in his chest. You know, like Superman's got the S. It's like that's like the symbol. You know, like. That's like where the power is.
Yeah, the good boy symbol.
So, how old is he?
So we got him from Contra Costa Shelter in July, and they guessed him at 1 year old. So he's about 1.5 now. We think he's older, though, just the way he acts.
He's still young, but I don't think he's a year. He's probably like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And you like just like... You saying that like on his like behavior or energy level?
Probably it is more of his behavior. It was weird because when we got him, he already pretty much knew how to like basically be potty trained, and it was really easy to get him to start doing some tricks. Like he's learned how to like the commands pretty quickly, so it made me think he already kind of knew like all of them previously from if he had a different family or anything like that. But yeah, he doesn't seem like he's one. He definitely gets his spurts of, you know, puppiness, but he's not all the time like a 1 year old would be.
And what made you guys want to get him? I mean, like obviously everyone wants dogs and loves dogs, but it's like actually getting one is a completely different thing.
Yeah, so funny story. I actually found him. So I was walking to BART one day. We used to live in Concord. So we could walk from our apartment. And I was walking down the street, and I heard just a little paws running towards me, and I looked around, and Ellis was there. And so he just ran up to me, he sniffed me, and just stuck around. So I looked around for like an adult. There's no one around. So I stood there for a while, and I saw a cop car across the street, so I waved them over. And they actually took them off of me to bring to the shelter. So I couldn't stop thinking about him for that first week. So I finally kind of scoured the internet for those like lost pet databases, and I finally found him. And he was at Contra Costa Animal Services. So I gave him a call and asked if this dog was found on Laguna Street and Ellis Street of Concord. So we named him after the street, and they let us adopt him.
Awesome. So he had like no collar, no tag, anything like that.
No
and
collar.
he was just walking around like sniffing bushes and...
He was happy to just be around me. No collar. He wasn't chipped. They checked once he got to the shelter, and they actually held him for an additional 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks. So no one came to get him.
Yeah, and we were like looking on Nextdoor and
Yeah.
all like we were looking around the neighborhood, see if people had signs up, anything like that. We never found anything.
Yeah, I had posted something too saying, I found a black dog. If it's yours, it's at the shelter now.
And so like, did you guys like before even meeting him? Like, is that something you guys like thought about, like getting a dog? Like,
Yeah, it's funny. We had been we had talked about it for a while, but our apartment didn't allow it. And then we ended up just following his kind of journey through
The system.
the system. I guess the system. But we kind of followed him, and I ended up having to call my parents and be like, "Hey, can you guys hold on to this dog before we find a new place that we can live that will actually take dogs?" And they have a house with like a backyard, and they actually have a dog already, so they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." But it was pretty interesting. We had just been talking about it. He just shows up and picks Janice basically, and we followed it and saw from there.
that's awesome. That's really interesting. Just like the idea, like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm sure like that's in a lot of the back of a lot of people's mind, but then having like you had this like connection, right? Like,
Yeah.
you saw him, and obviously he was out of place, and so that like that formed a connection, and then it kind of like created like a thought, and then that thought kept fermenting, right? And then it was like, oh, like let's go for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you guys like previously have dogs like growing up?
Yeah, I had one dog in the past that was a Pekingese, and then my family currently has one that's a Havanese, so 2 little white dogs. And then David.
I had when I was growing up, I had a chocolate lab for a long time, and then we ended up getting a yellow lab at the same time. Those two, we had Hershey. Hershey was the chocolate lab, and Bo was the yellow lab. And then they both got old and had to be put down eventually. And then now my parents have like a chihuahua terrier mix named Lizzie. So Lizzie and Ellis are best friends now, because he was basically fostered at my parents' house for probably like a month or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just loves any dog really. So they made friends pretty quick.
Awesome. So you guys familiar with dogs? So how long was it, like, from the time he was he was taken to the shelter to when he was taken to your to David's parents' house?
Yeah. So I found him in like mid-July, and then we could adopt him at the end of July. And then we picked him up from his parents' house probably in like September when we moved into our new place.
Okay. So what was kind of like that intermittent period? Because like you guys had lived with dogs before, but you didn't, you know, have him living with you. Were you like visiting him like every day, as often as you could?
As often as we could. We my parents live in Tracy, so that's not super close to where we are here in Redwood City. So it's like an hour to 2 hours depending on traffic. So it was not really feasible to go.
Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
see him every day. But we definitely we went and saw him mostly on weekends, and then we actually did a little camping trip with him. So we took him camping with us before we had officially taken him to our place and stuff. So we made sure we stayed in contact with him, and he remembered us every time we went to go see him and everything. But I'm sure he still misses my family. He's really excited when he sees my parents or my brother and stuff like that.
That's awesome. When we would bring my dog Mikey to my grandma's house, he loved my grandma because she always brought him like chicken skins and stuff. And so we would drive up to Santa Rosa where she lived, and we're in the car for like 2 hours, and so we let him in the backyard, and he would just run around in circles for like 10 minutes, literal giant circles. So that, I don't know if it's called a second home, but whatever it is, kind of like having like another familiar place like really excites them.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys mentioned that he knew some commands. So did you take him through like any training?
Just what we do at home. He didn't
Just at home.
He didn't necessarily know commands, but he learned them too quick that it was like kind of suspiciously fast. Like we try to teach him like sit, for example. It took a few times before he would start sitting every time. Which, I mean, he might just be a super smart dog, which that's a possibility, but that's a little too quick for me, at least.
But we didn't take any official classes.
Yeah, we just do a little bit of training at home mostly.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys are just like the best dog trainers ever, and you just don't realize it.
I'd hope so.
So like, does he know anything complex, or just like kind of like sit, down?
Just the usual for now. Sit down, stay.
We got roll over.
Oh, see that's good. See, I wanted to do that, but it was kind of like I was too lazy to to be diligent. I wasn't diligent enough to do it. Like it's on the trainer, not on the dog on that one.
Yeah.
Or the one where you shoot them, right?
Yeah.
We have a friend who can get their dog to shake it out. So you tell him shake it out, he'll stop what he's doing, and he'll like shake himself up, like rustle his fur and everything. So,
yeah.
How'd you even
yoga too?
Oh yeah, yoga.
Oh, I've been seeing some videos of like people, like it was like a golden retriever who the guy like squatted down and it like jumped on his back, and then he was doing squats with his dog like on his back. I was like, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of, you have to be really good, really detailed in your training, and we're not that into it. We just kind of are doing it for
the basics.
General basics.
So can you guys go into more of like kind of like his personality?
Yeah, sure. Well, right now he's licking my foot, so that's part of it. It's part of his thing. He's a super silly pup. He's very outgoing, I'd say, but he also likes to rest at home. Whenever we go out, he really wants to go see other dogs. So whenever we see a dog, he gets too excited sometimes. Unless he's met them before, then he's okay.
Yeah, he definitely he's very sociable. But yeah, he'll get up in everybody's kind of face. So some smaller, younger dogs don't really like him, and he doesn't really like bigger dogs as well. But yeah, at home he's really funny too, because he'll just be laying out of nowhere or just laying somewhere around the house, and then we'll just see him out of nowhere, and he's like running around, like jumping on us. Like, what happened?
He does zoomies a lot.
Yeah, we try to get him to zoom as much as possible, just because it's so fun to watch.
Nice.
Yeah, good thing is he's small, so our apartment, he has some room to run around and jump on things. He loves like nooks. Like he'll go under our bed all the time. We got a little bed for him, so he loves being kind of completely enclosed. Seems like.
Yeah, a lot of like I've always had dogs like they love going under a table.
Yeah.
I've always had bigger dogs, and so they always like under the table.
Yeah.
So is he just kind of like uncomfortable with the big dogs, or like intimidated?
I think so. Yeah, he barks more at big dogs, but like once he gets to know them, he's okay. There's one big dog we always see on our walks, and they try to play, but the big dog doesn't know it's big, so it kind of like steps on Ellis, and Ellis gets scared, so he runs away.
Yeah, I think he knows how big he is.
Yeah,
he doesn't have that kind of chihuahua like bark at anything Napoleon complex thing, but I think he's aware he's a 10-pound dog.
He's got to hold his weight against some cats.
Oh my god, dude! My parents' house has a bunch of neighborhood cats, and we didn't have a dog for a long time, so the cats basically had the roam of our backyard for like a couple of years, and then we got Lizzie, who's not much bigger than Ellis. She's a lot taller, but she's probably only like 20 pounds maybe. But even Lizzie and Ellis both will just bark at a cat that's laying down in the grass, and the cat will just look at them and be like, "What are you doing? Leave me alone! I'm trying to get some sun." They are not afraid of them at all. But they're trying their darndest to keep their lot, territory.
So do you guys have some like stories where it's like this story epitomizes who Ellis is as a dog?
Yes, the story about the toe licker.
Oh yeah, we picked him up from my parents' house when we moved in here to Redwood City, and one of the first things we did was we set up an appointment with a vet just to do like a new adoption checkup. And we took him to this vet in Dublin, and we're waiting in the waiting room, and we're kind of sitting around, and we're still trying to learn Ellis's kind of personality, whether he likes to be held a lot, or if we need to go walk him and stuff like that. So we're just sitting at the chair, and this guy sits down next to us, and first thing Ellis does is he jumps down off my lap and just starts licking this guy's toes. The guy just turns to us, which is you get people that have pets at the vet, obviously, so they understand.
Yeah,
he wasn't kind of grossed out or anything, but he just looked at us. He's like, "You got a toe licker too, huh?"
So this guy, this guy's wearing like sandals.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Made a beeline for his toes. Went right in.
I should look into that. Just like try to get some reasoning. Like I don't know if it's like a sweat thing or something like that. Like
he loves my toes, man. I'll tell you that. I don't know what it is. The worst is when he's licking your toes and you're kind of like, whatever, you can look, and then he just starts biting them out of nowhere.
Oh, he bites them?
Just kind of
nibbles.
Yeah,
nibble. Yeah.
It's.
But still, it's like I don't want you to pinch me, even if it doesn't hurt that much. That's great. Toe licker.
My family calls him a rascal. He's a little rascal because when we got him, when my parents got him, he found every single hole in the fence.
Oh my god!
Like immediately, and he was like super adamant for a long time. So I mean, that made us think that he was definitely been on his own for a while because he just likes.
He's good at escaping.
Yeah, he's good at escaping. So there's probably a reason he was on his own. But there was one time we had got him microchipped. Like right when we got him, I think the vet or
required to.
Yeah, it's required in Contra Costa County to get him microchipped. And he's at my parents' house in Tracy. We're out here in Redwood City. We're like at a bar or something, and we get a text. Your dog Ellis has been found at blah 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 vet. We're like, what? And how did he get out? What is going on? My dad's home. So I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, do you know where Ellis is? He's like, he's right here. What? Oh shit. In like 20 minutes, he had gone from laying at my dad's feet to escaped
went down the street,
picked up and already at the vet who had contacted us and we knew before my dad even realized.
It was within like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He's such a quick little rascal, man. He's always doing that kind of stuff.
So personally, I've always had like medium or large dogs. Right, so like it's a different equation for like, okay, where can they go in the backyard? Like what can they do in the house?
Yeah.
So that's I could only imagine, you just have like this like whatever, this like little tiny, ditch, I have this like idea of like someone escaping from prison, right? And they just like dig under the fence just like barely enough so they can fit under.
Yeah, he definitely found a hole that no one would have recognized as a hole. Like there's absolutely no way anybody would have seen it even if you were looking for it. He's just a little worm. Yeah. Little rascal.
That's great. Was he destructive at all, like in the house?
A little bit.
He was at David's parents' house, but he hasn't been here. like at all. Maybe it's because we walk him about 3 times a day now.
Yeah,
Three times?
I run
Yeah.
with him.
3
I
times.
take him on runs when I go run. It's just I have to. He's just
Yeah,
too
no.
crazy.
No, I know the pain.
Yeah.
My dog, he just turned 11, and so like
Oh.
I call it like he's in like retirement, because previously he was like
Oh.
constantly need the ball all the time, and
Right.
now he basically just sleeps all day. So
Yeah.
but I thought it would never end.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, I just want a dog who can chase the ball, and I'm like, no, please stop. Like,
Yeah.
my whole life is just throwing you a ball now.
Yeah, my old dog, my first dog that I had, Hershey, was his chocolate lab, and he was crazy. We would take him out all the time. We'd play with him all day. He'd still like be super destructive and just crazy. I mean, it turned out he had like an underlying condition that we found out when he was older, but Ellis is not nearly as destructive as Hershey was, man. Where he's easy compared to any of the other dogs that I've had.
Yeah, he's a very good boy.
He's a good boy.
That's good to hear. Is he like is he like a toy kind of guy, or is he just kind of like running around?
He likes his toys. We have these little dinosaur toys that are kind of bite sized that he really loves.
Squeaky.
Yeah, he likes to take them out just to sleep with them too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And
he's very photogenic in that way. He just makes good photos all the time just by doing silly stuff.
Yeah, like that's another thing too, is like, man, with like how readily available like smartphones are, it's like so easy to like snap a quick video or a quick picture all the time. Like, you know, like I wish I had that when I was younger. Have you taken him to the dog park?
Not yet, but we've been meaning to, especially once this all blows over.
Oh, yeah.
Situation.
Also,
then we'll go.
It's also been cold and rainy, so we're trying to avoid him being all muddy and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the dog park, I definitely recommend the dog park. What's I don't know, what I think is kind of interesting about it is like there's so many different like smells of like previous dogs that it's like I don't think anyone can like claim territory, right?
Yeah. He's just gonna pee the whole time on it, and he's never gonna finish.
He's still gonna try. Gonna get locked immediately.
Do you guys have like any other like tip, like, you know, like a sitcom like typical Ellis, like any other like?
I mean, just him being a rascal is probably the biggest typical Ellis thing.
Yeah.
He always finds a way. I don't know what it is. So he's very licky. I mean, obviously from the toe licking, but if you're anywhere near his face with any part of your body, he'll start licking it. And sometimes he'll come to you and just start licking your face, but he always finds a way to lick your teeth. I don't know how he does it.
Teeth.
Okay,
Yeah, he's always getting up, and I don't know. He always gets up into my face, and he finds a way to like lick in my mouth. And you're like, dude, stop! What are you doing?
You just smile more than I do.
That must be it. I don't know.
So like
in there. Oh my God.
You guys like if you're sitting on the couch, you guys let him jump up on you, right?
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to to commence. Okay, to attack. Yeah.
Lick it up.
Yeah, I had a friend who had a chihuahua who would lick a lot, but he would lick like nothing too. Like he'd just be walking around and he'd like be like licking the air. So I was like, I don't know. That's another thing I might want to look up. Just like what's like licking. I don't know. That's interesting.
Hope it's not medical.
Yeah,
I mean,
a snake.
Yeah, I don't know. It could. Yeah, who knows? So through previous recordings, I have found some dogs have like kind of like interesting treats or food they perceive as treats. Is there anything like abnormal that he loves? I mean, not that it's like abnormal for a dog to eat, but it's like, why do you like this so much?
He really likes chicken, which specifically, I know that's normal, but
specifically chicken.
Anything chicken, man, I swear. He definitely, we finally got him to like some like healthy snacks. Seems like he likes carrots now, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But he just kind of eats whatever. I don't know what it is.
No.
He's getting into some business right now.
She was just snacking on
What is that?
a flower thing.
Snacking on nothing. But yeah, we always just take him out, and I try to let him, sniff and walk, like, and pretty much as much as he wants. Like, this is his chance to be outside. But sometimes I'll just kind of look around and look back, and he's like eating something. Be like, what did you find?
Oh yeah, he was licking some goose poop the other day.
Yeah, he's just always eating everything. I don't know. He always somehow wants to drink out of the puddle.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Or
street dog life.
the like in the sidewalk, right? Like
yeah,
especially this time of year, it's been raining. Yeah, and then you can you see the reflection, and you can see it's all chemically, and you're like, no, don't do it.
Not for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to go into about Mr. Ellis?
No, I think that's about it. That's as much as we know about Ellis so far.
His life wrapped up.
You guys, when did you say September is when you got him?
We got him in July. I found him on July 18th.
July.
That's his birthday, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, we got him. We adopted him a couple weeks later, and then we got him in our apartment when we moved in September.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just doing some math, so just like a little over 6 months. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like Ellis found a great home and a great fit too. Like, that's always important, everyone wants, the puppy or whatever, right? Everyone wants the golden retriever puppy or like the German shepherd, or I don't know, maybe something bigger, but like that doesn't fit everyone's lifestyle. So you think he it sounds like he vibes with you guys. Do you think like it's a great fit?
Yeah, I mean, we're glad that he's a little smaller, so it's good for mostly apartment living. He doesn't have a yard, or anything like that. He always wants to go when we go anywhere, so we can take him to breweries, or we can take him to any kind of restaurant or park most of the time. He's like a little adventure pup, but he's not too crazy that he's hard to deal with, but he's never too lazy that he doesn't want to go either. So it worked out pretty well for us.
He's just happy to be anywhere we are.
Yeah,
that's awesome. It sounds like he's like very evenly balanced with everything.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, thanks you guys for coming on and recording. It was great to meet you guys and to learn about Ellis. Definitely want to hear about him more down the road. See how your adventures with him go.
Of course.
And another note, I didn't even say this earlier. It's like, I think that's really awesome that you guys just adopted him. There's so many awesome dogs like available to adopt. Like we got our black lab. He was 9 months old and he was at the Humane Society. It's like I'm surprised he was even there because like that's such a popular dog, but we got him there. And especially too, like depending where you live, like look around at different humane societies, because maybe some in like larger cities maybe have different will have way different types of dogs than outside. Like here, for example, there's like a lot of chihuahuas and pit bulls like locally, but if you willing to go hour or so out, there's like all sorts of like breeds that you've never even heard of,
right? For
or
sure.
at least I haven't heard of, because I'm not that smart. All right. Well, is there any other things you want to say about Ellis?
No, that's it. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So thank you for listening. The show is available on all major podcast platforms. Make sure you subscribe, follow whatever you do on that platform, rate it on iTunes. That is important for visibility, and more importantly, share it. Friends, family, loved ones, unloved ones, coworkers, your dentist, whoever. So thank you. And my little send off for each episode is keep petting those dogs. So keep petting those dogs.
Aw.